The Sovereign Heart, Renate's final act. The morning sun in Rome doesn't just shine, it claims the city. As Renate stood on her terracotta balcony overlooking the Piazza Navona, the golden light hit the white marble of the fountains below. For the first time in 40 years, the weight in her chest, that permanent, suffocating stone of maternal obligation, was gone. She took a sip of her espresso. It was bitter, hot, and entirely hers, the audit of a lifetime. Before leaving for Italy, Renate had sat with Mr. Weber for one final session. They weren't looking at bank statements anymore. They were looking at the wreckage of a relationship. Mrs. Richter, Weber had said, sliding a final document across the mahogany desk. The court has issued a permanent restraining order. Your son and his wife are legally barred from contacting you regarding financial matters. You are, in every sense of the word, free. Renate had looked at her hands that had scrubbed floors to save for Max's college, hands that had signed checks for Lena's vanity. They looked different now. They looked like the hands of a woman who finally owned her own life. The encounter at the fountain. A week into her Roman residency, the ghosts tried one last haunting. Renate was sketching the Fontana dei Quattro Fiumi when her phone buzzed. It was an unknown international number. Normally, she would have ignored it, but curiosity won. It was a video call. She answered. The screen flickered to life, revealing Max. He wasn't in the stylish apartment she had financed. He was in a cramped, dimly lit room with peeling wallpaper. Behind him, Lena was sitting on a suitcase, her face puffy from crying. "Mom," Max rasped. The arrogance was gone, replaced by a desperate, hollowed-out look. "They evicted us. Everything is gone. Lena's parents won't take us in because they say we're a financial burden. Please, we have nowhere to go." Renate looked at the son she had raised. She looked for the spark of the little boy who once brought her dandelions. She found nothing but a man who only saw her as a life raft. "Max," Renate said, her voice as steady as the Roman stone around her. "You told me you only invited special people to your wedding. You chose your world that day. This, the room you're in, the struggle you're facing. This is the world you built without me. But you have so much." Lena screamed, shoving her way into the frame. "You're in Italy. You're spending our inheritance." Renate let out a soft, chilling laugh. "It was never your inheritance, Lena. It was my life. And I've decided to live it." She tapped the red icon. The screen went black. She didn't cry. Instead, she picked up her charcoal pencil and finished the shadow on the fountain. The new special. Renate began to fill her days with things that had no price tag. She befriended a local baker who taught her the secret to perfect focaccia. She spent afternoons in the Borghese Gallery, standing before statues of goddesses who looked as fierce as she now felt. One evening, she hosted a small dinner in her apartment. Her guests were her art teacher, a retired doctor from the floor below, and a young traveler she had met at a museum. As they laughed over wine and pasta, Renate realized something profound. These people didn't know her bank balance. They didn't know her history of sacrifice. They were there because they enjoyed her wit, her stories, and her presence. For the first time, she was being chosen for who she was, not what she could provide. The legacy of the pink dress. The pale pink dress she had bought for the wedding remained in a box in the corner of her room. One afternoon, she took it to a local charity that helped young women entering the workforce. As she handed it to the volunteer, Renate felt the final tether snap. That dress was a shroud for a woman who no longer existed, the woman who tried to buy love. As she walked back to her apartment, the bells of St. Peter's Basilica began to ring. Renate stopped, closed her eyes, and let the sound wash over her. She was 71 years old, and for the first time in her life, she was exactly where she wanted to be. She wasn't a mother-in-law. She wasn't a widow. She wasn't a provider. She was Renate, and she was the most special person she